Hello, everyone. Welcome to the astrological presentation that I have for you called Conscious Connecting. This is live streamed. You may be watching this on the replay. I will be answering any questions that kind of come up in the chat as they come up. So I do have this planned out for you guys. There's some stuff that I'm getting that I haven't really seen it out there. So about this eclipse. So that'll be interesting because it's something that I channeled through the meditations that I've had for getting into this energy. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to jump right in. Oh, hey, Laura. Hello. Hey, Troy. Welcome. Happy Thursday, everybody. And things may come up today. The moon is void, of course, like now as we are live, but still things may come up. Hey, Kimber. Hello, Ferlentia, for real. Oh, good energy. Hey, Fraz. Welcome, guys. Yeah, how are you guys feeling about this solar eclipse? How are you guys feeling this energy out? Because it's for every axis that I've been taking a look at. You guys know that I do go on Patreon afterwards to do the 12 sign by sign breakdown. So I'm just looking at everyone's energy with the specific things going on here. And you'll be able to sort of get a feel for that as I talk through the general presentation. Now I know why birds suddenly appear so sweet. Okay, so if something suddenly comes up, just go with the flow. This is definitely that energy of we're not trying to really activate some big, if it happens, if there's some big stand that you have to make in your life, if there is something that you're just feeling that happening, let it happen. Go with your own flow there. Let's see, I feel like something is sneaking up on me slowly. Woke up at noon and body threw me back into sleep. Wow, definitely. What is your placements, Catherine? Because that could definitely be some 12th house, 6th house stuff, especially if the sleep is heavily being affected. You guys could be, actually everyone could be having some really intense dreams, the dream life, astral traveling, all of that could be extremely heightened right now. What this eclipse is doing is it's closing our portal that we've had open for the past 2 weeks since the May 26th Sagittarius lunar eclipse. So this is a solar eclipse. It's going to give us something new. And what's usually the case is that it's dark, vague, and ambiguous. And then there's a big reveal. Then there's something that becomes clear, that becomes obvious, that becomes the aha moment. Now I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. I know where this is going. I know where this is leading. So, okay, I'll start with the title. So why have I called this Conscious Connections? This is a huge deal because the biggest signature of this eclipse is featuring Mercury. Mercury is retrograding and kazimi with the sun. And so there's this energy of being conscious and being aware, being awake to something, being able to see something clearly that is going to be affecting your life for the next 6 months. And this is kind of not exactly like the crunch time. You've been in this process for a year already, but it'll be the last 6 months that you have to complete this cycle of learning something, of seeing something. And then we won't have these eclipses in this family for another 9 years in the Sagittarius Gemini area of our lives. So we just have to milk it here. So, okay, Catherine, Capricorn sun. I knew it. Capricorn sun, Taurus moon, and you're a Cancer rising. High five. I am too. I'm a Capricorn sun, Cancer rising. This past week, I haven't remembered dreams, just waking up confused, remembering yesterday happened. Yeah, you may be continuing to feel, especially because you have that happening, because you're a Cancer ascendant and that Capricorn sun, you're definitely going to be feeling like you're literally walking in between both of the worlds, this material world and the ethereal world. So even if you're not remembering your dreams, they're happening and that energy work is happening and the subconscious and the astral traveling, all of that is still happening. So if you in your waking life are feeling the effects of that, that will give you a clue as to what your astral body was doing, what your subconscious was processing, the night before and the day before. So this is going to be a big one for you. I would definitely adopt the healthy habits and the routines and anything that supports your overall health, because that's going to be huge for you. For Lentia, do I do charts? I do a few different readings over on the Patreon. I do a very specific destiny reading. That's in the Kings and Queens tier, where I pull it all together and I read your soul's mission in this lifetime. And then everything else is very personalized because you have your own unique signature. And I read how that helps you and what you can use to conquer the karma, stand on that, embody the highest expression of that, and then you'll be able to reach for the destiny. So I do that. And then the transit trackers that I do, Valencia, I do that for my emperors and empresses and hierophants and hierophants. And that's when I look at your specific chart and look at the transits and the progressions, and I tell you exactly what you can personally expect moving forward. And that's the transit trackers. So 7 dreams in one night. My goodness gracious. Troy's surprisingly relaxed as a Saggy. You know, this is great energy for Saggies because it's a humbling experience, actually for Geminis and Sagittariuses. If you've been leaning into that, if you're comfortable being humbled and comfortable just relaxing your mind open, then you can really get even more out of this, and you'll be less resistant, and it'll be less of a crisis. You can just kind of go with the flow there. Okay, Colette, check that out. You want a quick break? Simply this last full moon. Oh, I'm sorry, being Jasmine, doing physical therapy. Yeah, I can't be here. Yeah, health issues, if there are any like toxins in the body for Capricorns, that 6th house, that could definitely come up to the surface now and over the next 6 months. So, okay, guys. So, speaking of becoming aware of something, the consciousness of this lunation is really, really in our face. And there's many reasons. I'm gonna go over the absolute most important, biggest ones. So, okay, this is a new moon solar eclipse happening at 19 degrees of the sign of Gemini. That's where you want to look in your chart to see where you're getting this new beginning. The biggest signature is that Mercury retrograding in the sky from our apparent view on Earth is right there at 20 degrees of Gemini in the heart of the sun. So this is a new cycle with a refreshed perspective, a refreshed focus. So there's going to be something from the past, an attitude from the past, an idea from the past, something coming through. You will want to point your desires to a higher purpose. That's the sun. The sun is the giver of life. The sun is what is illuminating everything, but also what we can use in order to really move forward. So this is the energy that you kind of definitely want to go with the flow. You don't want to force anything or try to like trigger something off. But at the same time, over the next 6 months, it's a really powerful time to manifest. It's a good manifestation cycle because of the inherent signatures. So what's happening right now, like what you guys might be feeling right now, is that we're definitely in the dark. This is like, we're in the underworld. It's okay, but even though we're in the underworld, you want to think about like Hades. You want to think about seeds in the ground. So it's invisible. It's dark there. We're not going to dig up the seed and see how it's growing. It's the same thing with what's happening here in this Gemini area of your life. It's still in the dark, but there's something starting. There's something growing here. So the sun is here to illuminate that underworld. Okay, so even though the seed is planted in the deep, dark, cold, I guess it's cute dirt, it's going to grow. Something's going to start happening there. So, conception happens invisibly. It happens in the dark, whereas the birth is very there. It's very visible. The birth of that baby, it's like, so this is think of that this is the conception part where there's something growing, but it's happening in the dark. But when that freaking sprouts, it breaks that ground. You see that little sprout and you're like, oh my God, go baby, go. I'm growing my little lemon plant, my little lemon tree. And it's just like, I sing to it every single day. So anyway, the seeding of new thought and wisdom helps to connect and influence people and ideas because it's Gemini energy. So think of the things that Gemini rules: writing, speaking, crafts, business, commerce, social media, any kind of communication, including telepathy, mental health, mental abilities, information exchange, languages, learning languages, literature, radio. smaller forms of like local publishing. Also cars and transportation. We could actually see some confusing things with transportation. There could be like an increase of drunk or high drivers like on the road causing accidents. There could be something like that. And I'll talk about Neptune in a second. Think of local travel, writers, writing, wirelessness, wireless communication, also the early learning environment, because when we grow up, this is third house energy, you know, that's where we get our feedback from our peers, from teachers, our little, oh, you remembered this and that, or, you know, good on you, you know, that's a whole different area. But anyway, so all of those areas, all of those things are going to play out in this certain area of your life. So if you are a Gemini, all of the communication is going to be through you about yourself and your identity and who am I? I'm being humble. There's this whole thing happening, and through your relationships. So it's going to be different for every single one of us. Oh, here we go. Hold on. So Aries and Libras, it'll be information itself, like information you're taking in about the world, different communications that are going back and forth about informing your world perception. If you're Taurus or Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, it's possessions, it's intimacy, it's your values. That is a lot of information, you know, going back and forth. Think of that wirelessly and Bluetooth, like all the gigabytes of information just like going through the air. Cancer, Capricorns, it's health, it's privacy. Something could be happening behind the scenes that's growing in your life, but you're not telling anybody about it. You're just like keeping it on the hush hush, on the down low, because it's very sacred and personal, or it's very meaningful, or it's just not ready to launch yet. Something like that. If you're Leo and Aquarius axis, this is your creativity versus, it depends if you're a Leo coming from the Leo perspective or the Aquarius perspective, but some of you are going to want to focus on your joy, your creativity. That's Aquarius. And if you're a Leo, it's about your friends and your allies and meeting new people, getting new faces, learning from other people's perspectives. And when you go into the South Node, wherever this is in your chart, if you go into the I know this already, like if you're the Leo and you're like, well, I know already. I know what I like. I know my creative idea. I already know my kids. I know how I'm going to be a parent. I know how I do that. That's all. You're going to waste this opportunity, and it's all going to, like, you know, the friends that can introduce new ideas and new concepts and new ways to support your career are going to pass that right by. It's going to like walk right by you. Virgo, Pisces, this is home, foundation, your career, new information, new ideas, maybe even about a past opportunity, a past experience. And, you know, depending if you're a Virgo or Pisces, the focus is going to be either on the career or it's going to be on the home life and stabilizing things at home. So whatever area it has to do with for you guys, you're going to be absolutely conscious of new information bursting to the surface of your attention. Something's getting your attention now that you didn't see before. Okay. So this is also, if you can get this, if you can go with this flow, and remember, we'll have another chance in 9 years. It's okay if you're not ready yet. If the people in your life, if they're not ready, it's okay. There will be more opportunity in 9 years from now. It's okay. So everyone's on their own timeline. It'll be different people, it'll be different situations, but you know what I'm saying. So if you run with this, though, if something comes up and it's an opportunity and you have the awareness and seeing it differently, and you're out of the South Node and you stay open and curious, you can answer that call. You can work with the new ideas, the new people, the new situations, and you'll get support from people of influence. You'll get support from people that are your superiors. You'll get support from people that can help you. That's the sun. The sun is the king. The sun is the superior, the boss, the head honcho. So as long as you do the Mercury retrograde part of it, and if you allow the sun and that Mercury retrograde to work together to really just birth something new, totally new, but on something you've already been considering or talking about or working on, then you can take advantage of this. What this kazimi means is that it's powerful good luck. It's a powerful form of good luck. It's a powerful form of good luck and opportunity. It's one of the luckiest things. It's one of the luckiest astrology signatures. Not all new moons are kazimi, but some of them are. Some of the kazimi just means when a planet or luminary is in the very like heart of the sun. So there's a few different phases, but yeah, kazimi is like right there. So it's good to use when you really want something to succeed, when you want something to be very successful. I said that already. It is one of the highest forms of good luck. It's very auspicious energy. So, but like I said, you're going to have that open mind. You're going to have to stay really flexible in order to be able to perceive it. Otherwise, you're not at that level to perceive it, so you won't see it. You just won't see it. It's like walking around with a scar on your face, and you're not ready to talk about the trauma that created that scar. So you blocked out the trauma, you blocked out the stitches and the recovery. And when people look at you and ask you about the scar on your face, you go, what are you talking about? There's no scar on my face. What are you talking about? And you look in the mirror, you don't see a scar. You look in the reflection, you don't see anything because you can't perceive it. That's some cognitive dissonance. That's like a really dark example. I don't know. I'm just darkly inclined. Okay. So if we can go with the flow here, we can find a true alignment. My handwriting is so small, between our inner self and the Mercury principle. So what is Mercury trying to tell you? What is Mercury trying to refresh your mind about in this Geminian area of life? So we have the Capricorn sun and the Cancer ascendant. I'm a Capricorn sun and Cancer ascendant. So for me, I started really eating healthy, like for real, like within this 2-week period, like really getting it together from the Sagittarius solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, and like today. Guys, it's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest, because our belief systems are changing, right? So my belief about like food and eating and health, I had my first full day of what I showed you guys, of those of you that follow me on Instagram, of what I showed you, what I eat in a day. And after I had the roasted vegetables on the red and white quinoa with the millet and the buckwheat, like 10 minutes after that, it's like I woke up again. It's like I just woke up again, and all this energy, and I was just like surging with energy. And I thought, I can do so much more. I can be so effective. I'm sharp. I'm clear. It was like better than some kind of, I've never done any drugs other than like marijuana, and marijuana is legal now. So I'm just like a huge dork, but I would imagine what some powerful drug would feel like, that would just make you come alive and just be really, but I like that as a Capricorn. I love feeling like I'm very capable, and it's not like I have to push myself so hard. I have the support of the lifestyle, of the positive eating and the hydration and the tea and like all this stuff to fuel what I want, to fuel what I care about, to fuel my life. So my belief systems around my daily life and my daily habits are changing. That's stressful. This is going to be stressful for you, but you want to channel that positively, because if I could choose my way, I would just eat chocolate donuts, Chester's hot fries, toast, Irish butter, macaroni and cheese, ice cream, Cherry Garcia, chocolate all day, which is and Smarties. I used to go through about 5 pounds of Smarties candy. I had a supplier that I'd get them from. They're a family-based company in Chicago, and they use a plant-based form of something. So I forgot the name of it, but I was so into it, and I would just eat candy, teeth problems, like I would just eat horrible all day. That's my Aquarian moon. So it's a huge deal for me. It's a big deal for me to eat like a healthy human being, and it's doing a lot for me. So that's the consciousness part of it. And this is something like, okay, I'm going to get healthy one day. I'm going to, go back to not eating meat. One day I'm going to be plant-based, And then it's like, well, it's the time to implement. Totally the time to implement this. So the Cancer risings out there, this is affecting you with getting rid of that shadow of what is the self-destruction that's keeping you from being healthy. So apply all of that to relationships and the identity if you're Gemini Sagittarius, or work, career, and your home if you're Virgo, Pisces, so on and so forth. I get way more into this on the Patreon. That I'm just trying to give you guys a quick, it's like, so you can visualize it in your mind. Okay, but it's the principle of it. You want to align with the principle of it. So me being healthier means that I can give more to you guys, which means I can do better work, which means that I feel better when I'm working, which means it's like, it's my alignment of love, truth, and integrity in the services that I provide to you guys that are learning your psychic ability, that are learning the tarot, that are, oh, tarot talks today after this, that are learning astrology, that are learning to use your psychic ability. Me supporting this meat suit that I'm in supports my purpose. Okay. Okay. So that's the sun with the moon, with Mercury retrograding, kazimi here. Okay. There's more. I'm building onto this, but there's that. There's the principle of it, of the mental rewriting. Okay. There's another thing happening. This solar eclipse is trining Saturn retrograding in Aquarius. Okay. So Saturn retrograde is karma. There can be karmic love flourishing right now. Like people you meet now, you could be karmically attached to them, where I promised I would meet up with you in the next lifetime, and here we are, and here's the time. You know, you're in this age, you're in this stage of your life, I'm in this stage, and it's like the timing is right. And that's what that is. So the revelations that we experience are empowering us to defend our boundaries energetically, because Saturn's boundaries, and Saturn retrograde is like our opportunity to say no to something, to say no to different thoughts and ideas and connections and situations that we've had difficulty with in our past. So this is it. This is the opportunity. What thoughts have you been choosing to create your reality? There's a responsibility that we want to take on for creating our reality. We're all self-made. That's all of our personal responsibilities. Is this, this is positive energy. Oh, that's right. That's exactly what I said. This is positive energy to set boundaries and to remember to not compromise on the frequencies that we want to align with. If something doesn't look, don't lower your standards. Don't lower your standards. Don't drop your boundaries just because you're lonely or isolated, because how are you dealing with the pain of individuation? How do you deal with the isolation from being who you really are in your community, in your family, in your area, your neighborhood, whatever that is? We have healthy discipline to restructure how we relate intellectually in groups, how we individuate, how we interpret reality and discuss our ideas. So this is very supportive to you reforging something in your life, reforging how you think about yourself, your life, your habits, whatever it is for you, how you communicate, how you convey, how you relate to other people. We can more easily integrate new patterns and behavior from whatever arises from the clarity of the eclipse and avoid unhealthy distractions. We can adopt healthy discipline and access a deeper level of integrity and self-mastery. So this is a huge opportunity. If you just lean into this, it will support you. So there's frustration, it was really frustrating for me to figure out. I'm a very picky eater. I just like to eat the same things all the time, which up until now was like candy and things that are not healthy for me. And so it took a lot to find things that I like, that are healthy, that I could eat. And I like to eat every 2 hours or 3 hours. So I had to start the day with something sweet, like French toast, which has some egg in it, so it's but there's fruit and there's flax and chia and hemp seeds. So it's the discipline, but to get a new pattern going, to get a new behavior going. And now that I have that template, now I could add avocado to that salad. Now I can switch out the roasted vegetables with different roasted vegetables. Now I can switch out that quinoa with brown rice, or I could, you know what I'm saying? It's it was hard, and I have pages and pages of grocery lists that me doing groceries takes anyway. Integrity and self-mastery. can lean into this. Also with groups of people. So we're especially if you're, who did I say, Leo and Aquarius, you're definitely wanting to take a look at the people around you. Decide for yourself what's your vibe, what's your tribe, what do you want to attract, what do you want to align with, and who's going to support you, who's an ally, where is the allyship that's going to actually take you where you want in your career or support where you want to go in life. If you're telling your friends, I want to do this, and they're like snickering or they're putting you down and it's like a joke, and it's like, well, they don't really support you. Otherwise, they'd be freaking on Ecosia looking up resources and links to send you and articles to send you and support you and encourage you, rah, you guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's a powerful time to just send to voicemail if that frenemy is calling you. That Saturn retrograding in Aquarius is like, maybe this was like a yoga group that you guys would all go out to coffee afterwards, after your little your little yoga thing, and you're like, you are so important to you to be included in this group and be invited. And then after the pandemic, not after the pandemic, but after COVID, after last year, you're like, and it just doesn't matter because it's not your integrity, and you didn't like what they talk about anyway. And it was like you zoned out for most of their whatever it is. So especially just go back to your integrity and harness the energy and the power of self-mastery, because you can do it. I believe in you. Okay, now let's talk about the crunchy part. And unfortunately, I wish it were crunchy. I wish it were crunchy like the end of 2020, but this isn't. This is the worst. This is Neptune. And you guys have heard me talk about Neptune and how slippery it is, how slippery Neptune is. That's another thing. What was going on in your life April, May, June 2020? Because you're getting clarity about this now, because that was the time last year when Venus was covering Gemini. She would retrograde Venus in Gemini over this area, squaring Neptune. And now it's the same thing, that this is happening, this solar eclipse, it's squaring Neptune in the same area, in the same spot. What have you learned from that? What have you learned from something that you saw last year at that time that looks totally different now? The shadow expressions of this energy are well covered. Everyone's talking about, which includes self-delusion, deception, all manner of disorientation. This is the difference of what I got that I haven't seen anyone else talk about. So hopefully people start talking about it, and you guys start talking about it, and it spreads the information to people that need to hear it, that need these messages. What I'm getting, tuning into this energy, is that you have misjudged a connection to a belief system, to a person, to a situation, or about ourselves and our lives, that we are coming to realize now. I'm feeling it as a painful clarity where we realize who and what we undervalued and took for granted and misplaced our energy into something we overvalued that we now know doesn't really matter. The message is to go higher. The message is to go to a higher purpose, channel a higher dimension, go higher, go beyond it. Whatever this painful, this is what I'm getting. It's this painful, horrible realization. It's going to be, it may be a little bit different for you, and depending on what area of life these are working through, but it is going to be a realization. And this is horrible. This is, okay, how I'm feeling it. This is like, you put your energy, last year, you were all obsessed with, let's say, building a house somewhere. And then someone dies in another state or in another country. And you realize now that, oh my God, I wasted my whole time, my whole year on a stupid house when I should have been spending time with this person that is irreplaceable to me. And now they're gone. And I'm not going to talk to them ever again. And I knew they were sick. Why didn't I go? Or, if you have a parent that you put them into assisted living, or maybe it was right at the start of COVID, and you put them there, and then COVID happened and you were not able to talk to them, get a hold of them. You don't know what happened to them, and the care workers just fell off the face of the earth. I saw that happen to people, that they could not check up on their people. And you realize now, oh my God, something just did, whatever you were into didn't really matter. It wasn't that's the kind of seriousness that I'm getting with this, of when someone dies, or when something dies, or when something ends, when the divorce happens. This is like when you get divorced and you look back on it like, oh my God, what I was so passionate about, it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter. It wasn't what was really important. I overvalued my ego, or I overvalued this, that, whatever. And now I have the clarity, now that it's all done and over, and I have nothing now, or less than what I went into this marriage with. And now I understand it. Now I have the clarity. We have to find a way to move forward. Even if you misjudged a person, a situation, yourself, if you overestimated something about yourself, if you were choosing your ego over a higher understanding, you have to find a way to move forward. And that's the point of this, is to have the understanding, to have the clarity that you took something for granted. You have to admit that. We have to admit that to ourselves. It's so painful. It's so cringy. It hurts so much that we over idealize something. Oh my God, I wasted all this time on a freaking boyfriend or girlfriend, and it didn't matter at all. Because what really mattered was right in front of me. And I'm getting that too. It's something right in front of you. That's what it is. But we're not able to perceive it yet. We're not able to get it yet. So then we don't get it. Only when we lose it, or when it's in jeopardy, or something else happens, that's when we realize that we didn't know what really mattered. And now we do know, but be grateful that you do eventually have the clarity. Be grateful that this is coming through for you over the next 6 months, now and over the next 6 months. Okay. I need a break for that one. That was hard. Getting that channeling, oh God, that was painful. Okay, let's move on. So that's what I'm getting from this solar eclipse squaring Neptune in Pisces. And so you can go higher. And that's the thing, that no loved one is really lost from us. They are just in a different dimension. Okay, so it's like if you go high with this, if you channel the compassion, the forgiveness, the empathy, the humility, the spiritual humility, you'll be fine. Because that's the point, okay? Okay. We also have the ongoing, the star aspect of the year, Saturn in Aquarius squaring, actually it's going to be Uranus. It's Uranus in Taurus squaring Saturn retrograding in Aquarius. But Saturn is also trining the North Node in Gemini. So I have questions for you. Where are you struggling against unnecessary or unrealistic expectations? Where are you acting out of habit instead of authenticity? How do you cope with the pain of individuation? Do you feel a rebirth trying to happen that's delayed, inhibited, or incomplete? Things are happening faster in 2021 than they did in 2020. Even the virus. Okay, so 2020, that was all about the epic, major Capricorn, Stellium, super duper conjunction. And even the virus needed time to build up. It wasn't just, it needed time to build up, and it was like a whole thing. And this year is totally different, because this Uranus-Saturn square, it's a lot faster. It's a lot faster. So you can steer your energies to creating a more liberating routine for yourself. You have to take both. You have to do structured growth. You have to advance, but dot your I's and cross your T's. There's freedom you have to find the freedom. You have to find and create the freedom through a structure, liberation in increments. You'll feel very proud of your hard-won liberation and success when you channel frustration wisely and challenge your bedrock assumptions, because overcompensated energy is going to just be whack. Overcompensated Saturn is like, I'm going to shut down all of cryptocurrency for everybody forever. That's like an overcompensating Saturn is, eating all your children because you don't want one of them to overthrow you. That's an overcompensating Saturn. Overcompensating Uranus is, I'm going to be free at all costs. I'm not going to wear any mask ever, anything, and anywhere I go, I'm going to or I'm going to walk around with my bow and arrow and my guns and my slingshots and my knives, and I'm just, because it's my freedom, it's my right. It's like overcompensating Uranus, freedom at all costs. Like, it's very, very, but neither of those are balanced. We want both. We want freedom. We want our crypto. We want our rights. We want our freedom of speech. We want our freedom of dress. We want all of that, but we also want measured success. We want to grow into a new structure. So this is very challenging. This is very, very challenging because no one's going to want this. We all feel like, we've all felt that frustration, that overcompensated Uranus, where we just want to bust out. We just want to bust out against that Saturnian restriction. So how are you feeling that in your life? Where do you want to break free? Because that is going to need a more measured approach, and you want to be conscious of that so that you don't hurt yourself in the process, because these all have boomerang sling back effects. When we overcompensate and we're super repressed and we're super oppressive, overcompensated Saturn is also, I'm going to control you because I can't control myself. I'm going to impose restrictions on you and be a dictator because I can't freaking handle it. I'm going to over control this relationship because I feel insecure. It's all fear-based with the Saturn part of this. Okay. So again, you want to channel this, you want to steer this into a liberation that is hard won. And, keep coming back to my eating habits, but that is freedom. It's structured, it's planned out, it's pre-done, it's all, but it's freedom because I have the energy to do everything I want to do and play and do that. And it's like revelation, where the candy diet is just like so up and down, and anyway, so, but it feels like freedom when I'm eating all the candy, when I'm eating but nope, I pay for it with my 5, 6, 7 root canals. I pay for it with 4 or 5 emergency dental visits. I pay for it. I'm not paying on it anymore. Done with that karma. It's not worth it anymore. So that's a more Saturn thing, making this evaluation. No. That's a sign of maturity. I'm finally, I used to say I eat like a 5-year-old, and I feel like I'm growing up now. Okay, so let's move on. We also, a couple other little things. Those are the biggest things. The kazimi, Mercury retrograde kazimi, trine to Saturn retrograde, squaring Neptune, and then the ongoing Saturn-Uranus square. Those are the big things, and trining the North Node. So you lean into this and you do this the right way. You just gearing you guys up for success here, okay? I want to see you win. Okay, so we also have Neptune trining Mars at the last degree of Cancer. And also we have, okay, so this is Pisces, Neptune in Pisces. And we also have Venus in Cancer trining Jupiter in Pisces. So let me go back to the Neptune. So Neptune in Pisces is trining Mars at the last degree of Cancer. Very interesting, because it was Mars in the last degree of Aries that gave us January 6th. So I'm just saying that this is a very critical point for Mars, because he's about to burst free into Leo, I don't know, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. And I think it's tomorrow. And it's a much more comfortable placement. Why has my hair been looking weird? Much more comfortable placement for Mars. So at this last degree with this solar eclipse popping off, there's something it just has to happen. It's waiting to just open the freaking floodgates, like a chariot just bursting through the doors. So anyway, with Neptune trining this Mars, there's a lot of emotional charge for changing your perceptions. So if honestly, this is the very best for anything spiritual or creative. But if you are creative, this is very powerful, because you can really Your emotional passions are fueling your imagination, which is going to be limitless because you can create anything in your imagination. So for some people, they're going to misuse this energy and they're going to channel conspiracies that don't have any foundations, or I like conspiracy theories. Okay, I grew up loving conspiracy theories, especially the movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts. Geronimo. Okay, so trust me, I love conspiracy theories. This is just like some things or some perceptions are going to get way blown out of proportion. You know, lies, deception, that kind of thing. And people are going to be very emotionally charged about that, whatever they want to believe. Okay. So this Venus, though, Venus in Cancer, trining Jupiter in Pisces, there can be a sweetness. There can be a real sweetness to trust if we're ready to trust that we can enjoy. We can actually enjoy surrendering. This is energy that can serve to nurture our beliefs that serve a higher purpose, if we channel that as such. We can connect easier to others and ourselves when we accept all the histories and experiences of other people. Okay? Just accept it. This is their history. This is their experience. Accept it. Accept what they're telling you. If they're saying how this is how they feel, that's how they feel. I've told a Gemini a few years ago, I said, I'm not going to argue your feelings. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. I'm not going to argue your feeling, put them off the defensive, but like, just accept it. Accept what someone's telling you. Accept what someone is, even if you don't think they're right or they shouldn't feel that way. No. If someone's telling you a frustration, you just listen and accept it. Accept that they feel that way. That's it. That's it. And you can connect with them. You can connect with them easier. Surrender to love. I actually wrote that down. Surrender to love. Okay. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the Mars opposite Pluto. This is gnarly. This is very gnarly. So how we go after our heart's desires, how do we go after what our heart wants, needs to be recalibrated to something that's authentic. That's it. That's it. That's part of the frustration, is that it's, what are we doing that's not authentic? How are we starting and going after what we want that is not really what our hearts are telling us? So there's a lot of powerful transformations here. And there's like a private conversation happening with Mars and Pluto and Neptune, because Neptune is trining Mars, but Neptune is also sextiling Pluto and Capricorn. So it's like Mars really does need to change. Mars has this urge to set up the home or do whatever this business is in Cancer, the Cancer area of your life. Okay, guys, so there's a lot of powerful luck here when we are conscious in what we connect with. And first, that connection is with ourselves and our own hidden underworld realms that the kazimi is bringing to light. But if you can do that, you will have all of the gold, you will have all of the powerful luck that is available to you now, and use it over the next 6 months. Because this is a synodic cycle. This is going to take 4 months, 6 months. This is something ongoing. So this moment right now is a brief moment that can make sense of everything. Even with Mercury retrograde, this is a part of that cycle, of this bigger cycle of Mercury, that everything can be clear for a moment. And then you trust, and then you go and flow, okay? Aw, you guys are so sweet. Are there any last questions before I head over to the Patreon to do the 12 sign breakdowns? I do 12 sign breakdowns, and I do tarot for every single sign. So, okay, guys. Well, this was so fun, as it always is. I love chatting with you guys. I love to share all of this and my channelings and the presentations here. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Kazimi. I know, the kazimi is so interesting. So interesting. So like I said, make the very, very best of it. There's a reforging happening. It's reforging. Think of that blade, okay? I love you guys. Take really good care. I will see you guys tomorrow for more weeklies. Until then, oh, it's my service to you guys. Until then, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Toodaloo, darlings. Mwah.